Hey guys, you're watching Daniel and Gian React, and today we're going to check out a stand-up video from Indian comedian Veer Das. He was on the Conan show on TBS back in April, and rumor has it he's going to be back on the show soon. So we wanted to check him out, and so we can be excited for his next comedy appearance on the show. And without further ado,
My name is Veer Das. I'm from Bombay in India. Has anybody ever been to India? Well, if you haven't been, you must go because your jobs have. But before I start telling jokes, I should clarify something, guys. I have an Indian accent. This is how I talk. I'm not doing a bit. There's no Apu from The Simpsons joke coming up. But give me a little bit of time, my accent will grow on you, right? Or just give me like 4 or 5 generations, will be fine. And it's okay to not understand each other. There are things about me that you may not understand, like my accent. There are things about you, America, that I don't understand, like your women. I don't understand American women. I don't understand how you can resist this. No. Have you tried Indian yet, ladies? Have you tried Indian? Oh, you must. Once you go brown, the other colors let you down. There are 2 Mexicans in the back, like, write this shit down, man. This shit applies to us too, essay. No, I apologize. I don't mean to insult Mexicans. I'm just a comedian. I'm not your president.
that's fair.
Everybody's complaining too much. You have to work this out, guys. Everybody's like, man, we didn't choose this guy. Now we got to live with him. We didn't vote for this guy. Now we got to live with him. To you Americans, that's a president. To most Indians, that's a marriage. That's what Donald Trump is. He's your arranged marriage, ladies and gentlemen. Because in the most literal sense, your parents picked this guy out for you. But it's a good time to be Indian in the world. Not the best time to be brown, but if you're gonna be brown, Indian is the best brown. Think about where all the other brown people on the planet come from. Indians, we are the top of that food chain. Indians, we are the white people of brown people.
Never heard that before. Well, I mean, we can break down what he means by that joke.
So when we get shot, there's an investigation, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not worried about hate crime. I'm Hindu. If you murder me, I get karma. I'll come back as Beyonce, all right? And there's religious phobia because I believe that the world is changing and religion can't keep up. I feel like we need to update every major religion in the world. Just take every religion and give it to the company Apple. Every 6 months, Apple can update and relaunch the religion to the world. How nice would that be? That's what we need. We need Islam 6S, ladies and gentlemen. We need Jesus Pro. You would slow terrorism down. Can you imagine how much you would slow terrorism down if every time some nut job wanted to commit a jihad, you first had to sign a new online agreement with Apple?
No one reads those anyway,
jihad
so
ID.
I don't know how
You need to
that
sync
would
all your
stop.
bombs and your devices to the same jihad
I'm pretty
ID.
sure Apple owns my
Except
third-born
that
child,
one bomb
right?
didn't work with the old version of iTunes, so now you have to download the new version of iTunes. And you're all set to go up to heaven and get 72 virgins, but your iCloud only holds 6 virgins, so now you have to upgrade. My favorite part of that joke is just Android users going, what the hell is he talking about? But this is my dream, ladies and gentlemen, to be in America. Not for comedy, just breakfast. This is America's greatest achievement that nobody talks about. You have done things with breakfast cereal that bring tears to the eyes of immigrant children, ladies and gentlemen, they do. I grew up in a universe of
diabetes.
cornflakes. Cornflakes has 3 active ingredients. Corn, flakes, sadness. And then you come to America and cereal has like leprechauns and Lucky Charms and chocolate Draculas and unemployed captains and a rapist-looking tiger.
Hey, watch
Because
out.
what was
Frosted
the
Flakes
concept
are
of
good.
cereal? It was get milk into kids. Make milk interesting for kids. What God did with breasts, America did with breakfast cereal. So enjoyable. You don't appreciate your American luxury. I went to your supermarket the other day. You have an aisle for cereal. An aisle for cereal. You're complaining about a president, you have an aisle for cereal. It is 60 feet by 10 feet. That's 600 square feet. In Bombay, that's a school, ladies and gentlemen. That's my time. Thank you so much. I hope you had a good time.
Fantastic. That was fantastic. Dear God, ladies and gentlemen.
Jesus Christ, Conan is a giant.
He's tall. It's weird. I mean, I guess we can't really. I mean, I don't really want to comment on his stand-up because I feel like that's out of my zone.
Well, I think what I get from it is he's like, this is just what he sees as an outsider, as an immigrant to the States. Like the things that he's noticing that are different. Like I never.
Do you think he's playing to the stereotype for us though, or do you think this is act abroad too?
Well, he's not really. Other than his accent, I didn't really see him doing any like stereotypical stuff per se.
Well, I feel like the jokes were aimed at Americans.
I think the jokes were definitely for Americans. Obviously, that he's targeting his audience, and I'm sure his routine when he's back home or in other areas is completely different. You know, you have to. You can only
because it's Conan. That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
This is the censored, watered down version of 5 minutes where you can't really
get to your act. You got to keep it's got to be clean because it's on cable. It's not on HBO or Showtime, so you have to.
Not to say he's not clean. He could be 100% clean.
Yeah.
But for the most part, usually most comics who come on these late night shows, they have a little dirtiness to them in their full hour specials. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'd like to hear more from the guy for sure. Yeah, I mean.
Well, let's dissect his top of the food chain brown comment, and I think there is there's something to that. Right now we have in the States, people like to call Asians, like East Asians, the model minority. There's a positive stereotype that they don't commit crimes, they're hardworking, they're very studious,
educated, yeah.
Yeah. So white Americans like to compare other minorities to the Asians. And why can't you be like the Chinese kid down the street? Why can't you be like the Japanese kid? Et cetera, et cetera. Completely avoiding any like sort of existence of negativity. And that can actually be seen as a detriment as well because
they have super high expectations.
Exactly. The expectations are way too high, and when they're not met, they're failing the idea that you have of this.
And I forgot what school, but Joe Rogan's talked about it a million times recently. I don't know if it was Harvard, it was some Ivy League school where they're actually holding Asian students to higher standards, within their own, like within Asians themselves. It's basically like this own like self-discrimination thing where, I don't know what SAT scores are now, but let's just say I think it's 2,400 out of.
Yeah, I think it's 2,400.
So like for example, let's say the average is like 2,000, all right, for Asians in general. But since there's so many smart ones, you have to at least get a 2,200 to even be considered. So all of a sudden, what might be high at most everybody, I don't know if 2,000 is good or not. So correct me if I'm wrong. All of a sudden, they have to get even more just to get into the school, even though, me as a Mexican, I might only need a 2,000.
Right.
And it's supposed to be fair. So, and obviously there is some sort of built-in, I wouldn't say stereotype, but built-in fundamental thing. I'm at a loss for words right now. I'm having a brain fart.
Well, we're going way off of subject here of the joke, but the thing with that is it's in the name of diversity. They're like, well, if we let everyone in, then this entire school is going to be 100% Asian, even though the Asian population of America is like less than 2%. So your top school is now filled with 2% of the population, and it's homogenized. You homogenize it to one thing, and I think that's not what this country's founded on. I mean, there's different ways of looking at it. You can look at it as discrimination, but I feel like college isn't about having the best grades.
Not at all. Not for me.
It's about experiences.
Maybe out of high school to like weed people out. Like, okay, we're only going to accept the best out of high school because you're young and we want to make sure you actually earn it. Because I mean, when I went to USC, I transferred, so I didn't go. I went to community college after high school. That was a choice. I did it on purpose. I wanted to do that. But when it was time to transfer, everything I did in high school didn't matter. I had my good grades, but I didn't have to. In high school when you transfer, you have to be. You have to be on a team, or you have to be doing so much community service. You have to be volunteering for the government, like all this stuff.
And there's a
Plus have great SAT
there's
scores.
a stereotype about the Asian kids here too. Is like they all play piano, they all play badminton, or the
I
violin.
play video games.
Yeah, they all have like it's. If you look at it, and that doesn't help you. Like if you look at this is me. Like I don't want this to come off as offensive, but if you look at the application, they look identical, like across the board. Everything, all the activities are the same. And and I think it's a cultural thing. The parents came here and they're like very strict and like you have to do this, you have to do that. And we see later when these American Asian kids get older, like their stress level's so high that they kind of start cracking because they're not allowed to have any sort of freedom to choose the things they want to do. And I think that also when you're looking at a college application, if every single application looks the same, you're not going to want to let every single one of them in there because then you have a bunch of automatons attending your school, and that's not going to build anything.
Right. That's not what college is about.
No. And high school is also like, I mean, there's part of it too. Right now we have this culture in the U.S. where everybody needs to go to college, and that's not fair because some people just aren't built for college.
They don't need it.
And,
they can work in trade. They can go to trade school.
Exactly.
We need welders. We need plumbers. We need these are people we need to keep society going, and that's okay. And I think there's obviously a stigma. Oh, you're a custodian. Oh, well, you clearly haven't done anything in life.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, that's not true. You can be happy.
Blue collar work should not be looked down upon, and right now. In schools right now, it's looked down upon quite a bit. There's no.
And the funny and what's ironic about all that, you look down upon those people, and people who try to do trade work, they're gonna be employed from day one. Me, with my degree, I mean, most college
Still
students
don't have a
don't.
job.
Yeah, but I'm saying most. Well, I mean, I have a job by freelance, but I mean, like most college students, they go. Let's say they go for philosophy or they go for history or something like that. Unless you're going to be a teacher, you're not going to work anywhere.
If we want to break it down, my first job out of college was as a PA on a show, and my hourly was $10.70,
which is probably
just a slightly above minimum wage for a guy with a college degree. Now I got a flat rate, so I have my overtime included in it, but on an hourly basis on my contract it said $10.79. Which I think minimum wage is $10 at the time. I don't know what it is.
So, and that's someone just out of high school.
Yeah,
there's
people working In-N-Out Burgers making more money than I was hourly on a TV show with my college degree, and I wouldn't have got the job. I mean, in theory, I could have got the job without my degree, but I wouldn't have had the same connections because of the school. So that's something to consider that people don't seem to realize. Like I've mentioned it many times. I drive for Uber. I've had people ask me in my car, like, oh, you went to USC, you got a degree, why are you driving for Uber? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't see why driving for Uber is so bad in the first place.
The older generations, I feel like, definitely feel that way. But it's just a vehicle to make money.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
And the second question is always like, oh, what else do you do?
Yeah.
It can never be, oh, I just do this,
As long as you're happy.
Yeah.
People always want to judge, and I mean that's cool. If you want to go to school, if that's what you want to do it. We're not going to discourage you, but also at the same time, we don't want to discourage people who do, like you said, blue collar work, because it's what makes the world go around. And it's just like, I'm sure this guy, when he first started doing stand up, a lot of people were like, you can't do stand up. What else are you going to do? And I'm sure there was a point in time where maybe he was bussing tables. I'm not sure. I don't know what his background is. He could have been a rich kid growing up. I have no idea. But he had to probably make a decision at some point that, stand-up's what I'm going to do, and this is my job, this is my livelihood, and that's it. And that's a hard jump for some people, because some people like that stability of that old school, like, no, you got to have your 9 to 5. Yeah. Otherwise, what are you going to do when your bills are due? Or whatever. But I feel like that's the grind for creative people. But anyway, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, we just turned this into a podcast. That's going to do it for us. We're Daniel and Gian Talk. Make sure to ring that bell, smash that like button, hit subscribe, leave comments, let us know what you think. Check out some of our other reaction videos over there. We will see you soon.